Hey everyone, SamMcKdamn here, and today I felt like doing another Let's Real Talk on a god I've just been recently playing, and just wanted to let you guys know that for the last little while I have been in a bit of a funk when it came to Smite. Like, I don't know, Season 4 has really been pissing me off something fierce. But guess what? Brought me out of that funk mood. Yeah, okay, not really, but I have been really enjoying Kuzenbo for the few games that I have been playing with him. Yeah, so I think my problem with Smite right now is that it's not really so much the fact that there's just like one main problem I can point to. It's more like a combination of things, like the fact that they just buffed all the damaging items but didn't really buff or do anything with any of the defense items. So uh, it it's really encouraging the whole like just build full damage and just burst everybody down, because building armor feels pointless. And there was also the whole ELO reset. The servers are fucking god awful. I mean, they've always been bad, but I don't know. Season 4, it just seemed like they've just been going off on something else. They're just all over the fucking place. And for some fucking reason, it feels like the most bottom feeder retards are just coming out of the fucking woodwork. Like, it's like every single fucking game, there's always like the biggest dickhead you could think of is just ruins the fucking game for everybody. If it's not on our team, it's their team. But as I said, I mean, I've been having a lot of fun with Kuzenbo. He's not very hard to play, but again, he just has one of those personalities where just everything has been clicking for me with him, and I've just been enjoying his kit for the most part, even though for the most part it doesn't really synergize too well with each other. Like, his passive, it gives him damage mitigation based on the more damage he takes. His one is sort of like Baby's first Hoi one, but like, you can ricochet it off of walls, but the problem is that there's no bonus for ricocheting off walls, so it's just more, it just looks good kind of thing. His 2 is basically just Thorns. His 3 is a dash that also pins and pushes people, and his 4 is a AoE knock up and pushback. So it's pretty obvious to kind of figure out what exactly you want to do with him, like sneak behind people and sort of push them into your enemy line. But the thing that doesn't really make too much sense is his 2, because it doesn't really make too much sense, because it's like it doesn't give extra armor. It's just reflects damage back, right? And what ends up happening is that you never really know a good point and to use it. Like, I'm trying to kind of use it in such a way so, like, if I get caught in like Kukulkan's tornado, I'll use it to try and do some damage, but it doesn't really do much, even when you level it up. But and it also has like anti-synergy with his passive, since I'm pretty certain that the math for damage mitigation on his passive is done first, and then the damage reflect on his 2 is done second. So yeah, so there's just little things like that that just don't really make too much sense about him. And also, the biggest counter to that an enemy could do if you activate Thorns is to just, not attack you. So it's one of those problems where it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's really the only thing that doesn't work on him, to be honest. I don't know what they could really do. Like, maybe if they just gave some armor or something if he activated it, but then that would just make the whole reflect damage thing that much more useless. Yeah, again, I'm not entirely sure what they could do. It feels off. That's basically the only way I could really put it. Also, when you get kind of right down to it, Kuzenbo's 1 doesn't really fit too well with his kit, just because like, it's for a lane clear and a little bit of extra damage, it's fine, but the whole ricochet thing doesn't make too much sense, because as I said, it doesn't it doesn't give any extra bonus if you ricochet it. It just bounces, that's it. So really, it's like, so what's the point? Just for those dank MLG plays? Yeah. So if I find that Kuzenbo's kit doesn't really make too much sense, then why is it that I like him? Well, to be fair, I don't actually mind playing Guardians, even though I joke about that I get stuck on the role all the time. Well, I mean, to be fair, I do get stuck on the role all the fucking time. But one of the reasons I do like it is just because playing Guardian, you can actually set up for your team really well for team fights and all that. So it looks really good and it feels really satisfying, or at least that's my perspective on it. I know a lot of people are out there like, no, I prefer being the hunter or the mage kind of thing because that's where all the damage comes from, and that's fair, but I don't know, I guess that's just me. Yeah, so basically why I like Kuzenbo is just because he's really good at doing that, just getting picks and setting up for your teammates, but the other thing is that he also has enough damage that he can he can just kind of work by himself type of thing. Like, I've been doing pretty well getting some picks on people and setting up for my opponents, at least I think so. I mean, this fucking Boombox would be quick to disagree with that. But to be fair, this Boombox is... Well, to be fair, this Boombox, he was a bit of a fucking idiot this game. Speaking of players, retards coming out of the fucking woodwork, am I right? The thing he's been doing is that he's basically gone full crit on Hoonbots, which anybody who actually mains or really plays Hoonbots knows you don't do that. Like, yeah, it's his passive, but you want to focus more on cooldown and penetration, just because he has better damage stats and he doesn't really work too well with autos. But whatever. This Hoonbots, he can go fuck himself. Anyway, in case you couldn't catch it, this Boombox has basically been bitching at me that... Well, he's also been bitching at me and Herc that we keep pushing all the enemies out of the way of him getting the kills, and I guess we're getting the kills instead, so... Well, he's basically just complaining we're KSing him, and... Honestly, if you're gonna really complain about KS, that's fucking sad. In all honesty, like, you should be more concerned about just securing kills. Like, at the end of the day, shouldn't really matter that much who gets it, just so long as somebody gets it and the person's dead and everyone gets out fine. Like, that's about as good as a situation as you can get. But no, you got people who think that KDA ratios actually matter in this fucking game. Yeah, so, I mean, because a lot of the things that have been happening in Season 4 have been pissing me off. I have been trying to focus on a few other things for my channel, like with my Far Cry 2 video I came out with not too long ago. But it's not really so much the fact that I'm out of ideas for Smite, or I'm going to be going full donkey and quitting Smite forever. I mean, God no. I still enjoy playing Smite, it's still a lot of fun. It's just that I don't want to be stuck in a box, so to speak, so I'm just trying to expand my horizons a little bit. Actually, I've really only been paying half attention to the background footage here, mostly because I just wanted to get my thoughts on Season 4 out of the way, or off my chest, so to speak. Well, I can see why I've only been half paying attention. Fuck me, that one was terrible. In my defense, it's been what was it, like a couple weeks now or so since I've last played Smite. Oh, and one thing I will mention is that Kuzenbo's 3 is a bit harder to get off than you'd think, especially if you do it at a distance like I did there, just because you don't really charge that fast at the enemy. Yeah, so I'm just going back here, and it looks like I'm buying Ethereal Staff, but I'm actually not. I'm actually building into Gem of Isolation. And reason for that is just because there was nothing in his tool tips that said that when you use his 1, it doesn't apply like on hit effects. And so I figured if I get Gem of Isolation, I could get it like a little bit of extra, you know, CC on him, like a bit like a guaranteed slow kind of thing. But if it turns out that on-hit effects don't work on his one, then, well, looks like I've been buying a useless item. Oh, I just remembered one synergy between Kuzenbo's 1 and his 2. If your 1 is on cooldown and you use your 2 and take damage, it recharges your 1 faster. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like they just tacked on that add-on for the 2. It still feels out of place. Yeah, let's see. Wait, why did I activate my 2 there? I guess it was just a weird instinct I had. Oh, and here's another thing that kind of pisses me off. That item I tried to build, the Stone of Binding, that's actually a pretty good fucking item on tanks. But for some reason, it's not recommended on, like, anywhere, so half the time I keep forgetting it even exists. Oh, another thing is that, Kuzenbo's lane clear is fucking terrible. Like, his 1 doesn't even really kill all the minions in the minion wave. And, you know, there goes my 2, not really doing a whole lot. And this is kind of like a problem that I have with also Hoi's one, is that sometimes just because you're like one like step slightly to the left or right, the ricochet pattern flies off in some like completely random ass direction. I don't know, it just feels really inconsistent sometimes. And at the time when I was playing, I felt that that was like fucking bullshit that I didn't get to kill, but after looking at the footage again here, oh wow, that was a pretty good outplay. And yeah, again, like I used 2 abilities and I still don't clear the whole minion wave. So, just further proof, right? Alright, this bastard isn't getting away this time. Fuck you! Oh, oh my god, what's about to happen here is funny, but like in a really fucking sad way, alright? So, we're trying to go after like this Aphrodite, right? My shit's on cooldown, I peel as much as I could, and look at this fucking Hoomba, it's like, what the fuck was that? Like, did you hand off the fucking controls to an actual chimp or something? Like, Jesus Christ. I don't know, some people. I mean, I know I have my bad days, but like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so, I mean, not much is happening right now. I guess we're just all going back to base. And, now I'm picking up Stone of Binding, even though I'm pretty certain it's way too late. And right now I'm just like, oh, what the fuck do I buy? Wing Blade? Sure, why not? Well, okay, that wasn't entirely my thought process. I figured that they do have a little bit of slow, so I figured, let's try to start countering it, because it's not really affecting me, but, you know, counter it early, right? And this play, yeah, I'll admit this was very bad of me. I was kind of hoping people would still be around, but the only person around was Medusa, and, well, that happened. Oh, yeah. I died once, so therefore let's surrender, despite the fact we're fucking winning. Like, jeez. And get bodied. I love doing that. Even though, what's kind of weird thing that I noticed is that every time you do hit somebody into a wall, it like freezes like the screen or the game or whatever. It's very weird. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Yeah, so now Hoombots and I are going after this tier, and well, tier's doing tier things, you know, being annoying. So, you know, I'm just trying to peel as much as I can and kill him. And I bet you can't guess what's about to happen next. Yep, fucking Hoombots is about to go on my ass because, well, oh, and of course Smite servers are being fun as usual. Alright, so what did I do that was so stupid? Actually, exact fucking opposite, but whatever, Hoombots. You you be retarded however you want. Oh, and the Medusa fucking goes off on me like, oh man, when Aphrodite almost killed me, you pushed her out of the way so she couldn't land her skill shots. You almost killed me by doing that. Thank you, Hi-Rez, for resetting everybody's elos, so instead of me having to deal with shit players like that like once a month, I now have to deal with it every fucking game. And to put the cherry on top, the fucking servers just crashed. Fucking beautiful. I went to the end screen lobby just to figure out like what the fuck the Medusa was even trying to communicate with me there. And of course she's gone immediately, so the only thing I can figure is that by pushing Aphrodite out of the way, I denied her an auto attack for her to lifesteal from. Which, that's a really bad fucking idea. Just run, you'd probably be safer doing that. Anyway, and then I went to Boombox's build to see what the fuck he was doing, and oh my god, that build is fucking gutter trash terrible. Also, get dumpstered. I fucking beat you on like every single point for KDA. Oh well. So that's basically a pretty good summary of how much fun I have with Smite these days, but as I said before, I'm not about to quit Smite. It's just shit like this just pisses me off, something fierce. But I hope I'll see you all next time. Bye.
Japanese word of the day だぜ。Wow! Hot